Okay, so today we're going to learn how to factor trinomials. Firstly, the trinomials have three forms, either one variable or two variable, and we'll go through them very slowly. First variable is a. How the structure is ax squared plus b x plus c, where a, b are coefficients of x squared, and x and c is the constant term. For two variables, we have either a x squared plus b xy plus c y squared, where a and c are coefficients of x squared and y squared, and b is the coefficient of xy, or we shift the y squared to a, and so our other form is a x squared y squared plus b xy plus c, where a is the coefficient of x squared y squared, b is the coefficient of xy, and c is just a constant term. And also two rules of thumb. We'll factorize at first, if possible, and simplify if possible. So these are very important. And so now we're going to go through some questions, and I'm going to show you how to do each of them. We'll start from one variable. So how you're going to do is you're firstly going to find something called the multiplication number and something called the addition number. The multiplication number is a times c, and the addition number is b. So AC here is 132. If you check your one variable, right? I'm just gonna write it down up here. Ax squared plus bxy plus, oh sorry, that's the wrong one. Ax squared bx plus c. You can see that c is 132 and a is 1. So AC is 1 times 132, be 132. And your B is minus 23 because here's plus and here is minus. So your B is minus 23. So what we need to do now is to find two factors. We're going to find two factors of our multiplication number that add up to our addition number. So, and here we can see that even though this is positive, how can it add up to a negative? That means you know that the two factors must be negative, must be negative times negative, because negative times negative will give you a positive. So you're just supposed to find two factors. So I'm going to find them right now. Two factors of 132 that add up to 23. We get, the two factors are minus, okay, let me erase this. Two factors are minus 11 and minus 12. Because minus 11 plus minus 12 will also give you minus 23. Perfect. And now what we need to do is we're going to divide this by a, which in this case is 1. We cannot simplify this, so we don't simplify this. Got it? So your final answer will be equal to, so x squared minus 23x plus 132 equals to, make it two brackets. This one we divided by a. What's closest to a? X, right? So it'll be x, 1x, because it's over 1. So x, 1x equals to x. And then minus 11 is our C thing. And you see C is a constant, so C is a constant term, so minus 11 is just going to be minus 11 as a constant term. And here is the 1x again, so we just write x. And minus 12 is our C, so minus 12. That's your answer. Now the second one, can we do something? Yes, we can. If you did not realize, we can already factorize out something, and that is 2. So after we factorize 2, we get 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. And remember, we said we factorize at first if possible, and it is possible. So, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to factorize that. So now we find a multiplication number, which is 2 times 6. I'll use another color. 2 times 6. So multiplication number will give us 2 times 6, which is 12. And our addition number is b, which is minus 7. So again, we realize that how can it give us a negative when this is positive? Because minus times minus. So our two terms will be minus 4. My pen is going haywire. Minus 4 and minus 3. And now what we do is we divide it by a, which in this case is 2. Now you realize something, that you can simplify this term. So we do that because the rule of thumb is we simplify. So minus 2 over 1. And this we'll just leave it like that. So now let's write this is our final answer. We'll drag down the 2. And we have 2 brackets, one here, one here. And then the first one, this first fraction is 1, and then we divide it by a, so it's closest to x. So 1x, so x. And then we get minus 2, and since 6 is a constant term, because this is our c, minus 2 is going to be constant, so we have minus 2. Here is 2, not 1, so it'll be 2x. And here minus 3, you bring down that minus 3. This is your final answer. And now the next one, we realize that there's something off. We don't see 3 and 2 and another x in our normal one variable. It's not possible. The thing is, it is, because remember our another rule, we just did it earlier. Factorize if possible. So what are we going to take up here? We're going to take out that x. But also 6, 36, and 54. They're divisible all by 3, right? They're divisible by 3. So we take out 3 as well. So 3x, and this is 2x squared. This is minus 12x plus 18. And here we realize, oh, we can actually take out another 2. So we're rewriting this, because you want to take out as much as possible. So we can take out actually 6 at this point. So 6x, x squared, minus 6x, plus 9. Voila. So that is our factorized one after we factorize everything. And so now you find your multiplication number, which is, of course, 9 times the invisible 1. So it'll be 9. And your addition number will be this, which is minus 6. So minus 6. And again, we keep finding that, oh, how does it become positive? Of course, minus times minus. This one should be very easy. It's just minus 3. It's just going to be minus 3 times minus 3. And then now what you do is you divide it by a, which is here 1. Now this is not simplifiable, so we'll just leave it like that. So we bring that down, we get 6x, bracket this. This is 1, so 1, your a number is closest to x. So it'll be x minus 3, since line is a constant, we minus 3. And then you realize that these two fractions are the exact same thing, so it's just a squared. So this is your final answer. So that's one variable. As you can see, you may need to take out x, you may need to take out some numbers, and here as well, we took out a 2. So that's one variable. And now let's move on to our second variable. Now 2 variables, we do the same steps. We get a multiplication number, which is a times c, 2 times negative 15, that'll be minus 30, and your addition number will be here minus 7. So now we've defined 2 factors of minus 30 when added up gives us minus 7. So just pull up your list of, factors of 30 in pairs. So 7, it's only 10 and 3, that makes sense. So your answer will actually be, interesting, it will be minus 10 and positive 3. Since it's negative, only one factor can be negative, remember that. And so these are the 2. And now you do the same thing, you divide it by a, this case is 2. You realize that you can simplify minus 10 over 2, that'll give you minus 5 over 1. So please do simplify. And now we're gonna do the same thing. This is your a, remember that this was we divided by a, so and a is closest to x. So this will be 1x, and this will be 2x. And now, this is the tricky part. Minus 5 won't be a constant term because 15 is a coefficient of y squared. It's not just a constant term, it's a coefficient. So our top number here will be to variable y because this 15 is closer to y. We always forget about the square because when multiplied, it will be squared together. So this minus 5 will be belonging to y. So this will be minus 5y. And this 3 is plus 3, remember that? Plus 3y. Now we go on to the next one. Again, it's kind of interesting. So we get a multiplication number, which is 20 times minus 12. We get minus 240. And then addition number, it's just an indivisible 1 over here. So addition number is 1. This one will be minus 15 times 16, which, let me check, should be correct. Because minus 15 plus 16 is this 1, yep, okay. And then now what we do is we divide it by the a number, which is 20. And we can simplify both, so let's do that. Minus 15 over minus 20, you divide by 5. And here you divide it by 4. And so now we'll write that in an equation. The bottom number is x. Remember, the bottom is x. The top is y, because we divided by a, it's closest to this, and here divided by this. But remember, it's not x and y anymore, because here in the question it's given e and f. So this is e and this is f. So writing it, we have 4e minus 3f, 4e minus 3f, and we have 5e. Here's indivisible plus, as always, plus 4f. Is this getting tricky? Well, let's continue. Now this one, as you can see, is very weird. We have not seen this before because our normal will be, we'll write that down, it will be here, ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared. But when we find out here, we realize that it's y3, there's an extra y here, and there's an extra y here. So what do you realize? You can factor something out. So we'll factor out an y. After we factor out a y, we get x squared minus 3xy minus 4y squared. And you realize that this is now the correct one. So we work on this. Multiplication number, it will be minus 4 times the indivisible 1 minus 4. And then your addition number is just b, which is minus 3. So it would be minus 3. And now finding 2, it isn't really that difficult because 4 only has about 4 factors. So it'll be minus 1 and positive 4. And nope, it's minus 4. Minus 4 and positive 1. And then what we do is we divide it by a, which in here is just a 1. So we divide by 1. 1 over 1, we just leave it like that. Minus 4 over 1. We can't simplify, so we just do it. Now bring your y down in case you forget about your y. Your 2 brackets. Now again, remember that in this format, the bottom of the fraction, the denominator, is an x, and the top is a y. So we get 1x, so just x, minus 4y, plus 1x, okay? We'll write that neatly, and then 1y, so plus 1y, or plus y, yeah. So that's those two. Now, of course, we have these ones. We have the second variation of 2 variables, where the c is a constant. C is a constant. So it'll be ax squared y squared minus b plus bxy plus c. Now, we do the same steps. Always do the same steps. Only the fraction at the end that changes a bit. So we're going to do that real quick. Here, it's again 5 times negative 6, because multiplication number is AC, minus 30, and then B, very obvious, minus 7. Now we're going to find 2, and it's actually very easy when you find out. It is minus 10 and positive 3. Now what we do, remember, we divide it by A, so A is 5. And we can simplify this into minus 2 over 1. After that, you realize that what do we do now? We can, of course, do a bracket thing. But now, we divided it by a. So now the bottom, the denominator, won't just be an x. It'll be xy, because 5 is closest to xy, because this is one term, if that makes any sense. And the top one, since c is a constant, it's not a coefficient of anything, this will also be a constant. So we get 1xy minus 2, this will just be an ordinary 2 minus 2, and then the other one is 5xy and plus 3, because there's an invisible. That's your final answer. This is fun. I think it's pretty fun when you get the hang of it. So now this one, it's not in the correct form. So we'll just rewrite it as 6a squared b squared minus 5ab plus 1. So now it's in the same form as this. So after that, then we're going to find the multiplication number again. So that will be minus 6 and positive 1. So minus 6. And then your addition number is just b, which is minus 5. And I'm not talking about this b. I'm talking about a b in this form, b, okay? Don't get confused. Some people get confused. And now the 2 will be minus 6 and positive 1. And now we're going to divide it by a. And here, this is just easy, 1 over 1. It's simplifiable. That's not a word, but it can be simplified. So 1 over 1. And this is 1 over minus 6. So I'm putting this in a bracket again. Remember that for this form, the bottom is xy and the top is just a constant, because your a is closest to both variables, while this is not a coefficient to anything. So now after you get that, 1xy plus 1, then minus 6xy plus another 1. And so this will be an answer, or if you like, you'll rewrite this a bit nicely as 1 plus xy and 1 minus 6xy. So that's your answer. And now we get a last one, which we'll do here, just because we're running out of space, really. So 4a squared b squared plus 3ab minus 1. Your multiplication number, 4 and minus 1, so it'll be minus 4. And your addition number will be very easily just plus 3. So it'll be 3. Your two terms, easy, minus 1 and 4. And then you divide it by a, which here is just 4. So divide it by 4. This is simplifiable or can be simplified. And remember that the bottom, so this will just remain the same. So the bottom is xy, the top is just a constant. So then 4ab squared b squared plus 3ab minus 1, that will be in the brackets form. Here 4xy, but here is ab, so 4ab minus 1, and then ab and plus 1. So that's these variables things. I know the page looks kind of annoying, but if you really went through, you would understand how to do it. So now we're going to do two complicated problems and see if we can solve it using our method. But here we face a problem where you find a fraction or a decimal. And 15 times this and finding the factors, you realize it's basically impossible. So you need to factorize something out first if you're using this method that I'm teaching you right now. So I'm going to rewrite this so everyone has a denominator of 4. So you get 1/4 a squared minus 4 over 4 ab minus 60b squared over 4. Okay, we just change it, we just times 4 to the top and add a 4 at the bottom. And then now we'll factorize out the 1/4 to give us a normal, easier equation that we can solve. So now we go as normal. Multiplication number, it will be minus 60 times this invisible 1, and then your addition number will be just here, which is a minus 4. Finding two factors of minus 60 that when added up give us minus 4. We will quickly bring that up. Factors of 60. Is it 12 and 5? Is it 5 and 12? It will be minus 4. Wait, minus... Okay, wait, my brain's getting confused. Two terms will be minus 10. Two terms are minus 10 and positive 6. And now we divide it by this number, a, remember, and not this a, it's this a. Some people get confused. So we divide by 1, we divide by 1. It's not simplifiable, if that makes any sense. So now you find out 1/4, 2 brackets. And then here, it's in this form, which is the second form, this form. So remember that the bottom one is x, and the top one is y. Or in this case, a and b. So we got 1/4 of a minus 10b, and we got 1a, and then plus 6b. And then here you really want to just look at this top one again. And you know it's 1/4 a squared, so it'll be 1/4 a times a. And so you would want to put 1/4 into one of these, either one of these. That makes sense. So it'll be, I'll put 1/4 into this one. So it'll be 1/4 a plus 6/4 b, which we will simplify in here. 6/4 is 3/2 b times a minus 10 b. So that would be our final answer. You see, we took out the 1/4 and then we put it back in, because 1/4 a times a will be 1/4 a squared. The next one is similar. So here we're supposed to take out the fraction. So this will be 6a squared over 3 plus ab over 3 minus b squared over 3. Take out the 1/3, and then we get 6a squared plus ab minus b squared. And then now you do it normally. A multiplication number will be 6 times -1. And then our addition number will be this invisible 1. So now this will be minus 2 and positive 3, which gives us 1. And then we divide it by a, which is 6. Okay, and then we will just simplify. So this will be half. This will be 1/3. And this is the a number, and this is the c number, if you realized. So with this one will be a, and here, okay, will be x, and this one will be y. And this, in this case, is a and b. Okay, because a and b in this case. So now we'll equal, and we'll write down two nice brackets with 1/3 at the front. Remember about the 1/3. So we have 3a minus 1b, and again we have 2a plus b, or plus 1b. And then you look at the top, we get 2a squared, and 2a is already here. So this must be a normal a. So we apply 1/3 to this. And so 1/3 of 3a is a, minus b over 3, 2a plus b. So voila, that's me doing some questions and how you can do a factoring trinomials. So just to give you a quick summary, when you get the fractions for one variable, the two fractions, and we'll call this k, we'll call it m and n. When you get the two fractions, or just the fractions in general, the bottom one will be the one that's closest to a. This case is x. And this one will be the one that's closest to c. And here is nothing, so this is a constant. For this one, it's the same thing. This one is the one closest to a, which is x. This one's the one closest to c, which here is a term, and it's y. So it's not constant. And the last one, we will have a, which is x and y, and c, which is nothing, so it's just a constant. So this is our quick summary. Of course, factorize at first if possible, and simplify a fraction always, if possible. And so that's it. And yeah, subscribe, I guess.